Through all the different big bads of the Zelda series, we've seen some stellar foes fall in battle. From ferocious dragons terrorizing the sky, to giant arachnids festering in the depths of Hyrule's darkest dungeons. Our hero Link ends the lives of various evil beings, but none in colder blood than the death of Ganondorf in Twilight Princess. Back in 2006, Nintendo and the Zelda developers really sat down and said, let's make the coldest final boss battle. And they cooked. His story in this adventure spans over a century of hatred and violence. In today's video, I want to analyze this death and talk to you about why I feel it deserves such a title, what led to these final moments, and what events transpired to make this the coldest death in Zelda history. Be sure to go and grab yourself a delicious snack and drink for the video, folks. Subscribe if you're new around here, and drop a cheeky wee like down below. And let's get right into this one. Ganondorf's backstory in Twilight Princess is a complex tale of a villain who just wouldn't quit. His story in this time frame begins as a mysterious foe of the past trapped within the Twilight Realm, a dark world where light does not see day, a home for some, a prison for others. Within this shadow plane existed a history and monarchy of its own. The royal family of the Twilight Realm ruled from the Palace of Twilight. However, the stability of this system was fragile. The throne would be usurped by Zant, stealing the throne from their true heir, Princess Midna. During this time frame, the banished Ganondorf found Zant within this world and convinced the unstable usurper to join forces with him, promising Zant anything he desires. Together, a plan was forged to take the Twilight Throne with the aid of Ganondorf's dark magic. Zant would then aid the Gerudo in breaking free from the shackles of shadow, setting off their dark plan to take over the Kingdom of Hyrule together. This takes us to the Shadow Invasion. Not long before Link's adventure kicks off, the Kingdom of Hyrule is invaded. Through the combined strengths of Zant and Ganondorf, Shadow was cast over Hyrule, swallowing regions of the kingdom into their reign. Acting as Ganondorf's puppet, Zant seized control of Hyrule by plaguing the regions with different problems that Link would need to aid in order to reach closer to the source of this evil. The hero's quest saw him encounter Midna, the very same who had her throne taken away from her. He aids her in recovering the few shadow pieces. He's cursed into wolf form, only saved thanks to a great sacrifice by his companion in drawing the blade of evil's bane. The hero's quest to catch Ganondorf's second-hand man sees him venturing into the darkest dungeons of the land, rebuild the only form of transport between the realms of light and darkness, and eventually enter the Twilight Realm itself to face Zant and put an end to these troubles. Though, after dealing with Zant, the story wouldn't end here. Up to this point, Link only knew of Zant. He didn't know that there was a greater evil at control. It's during the final encounter of Zant that he reveals who his true master is, setting Link and Midna's quest towards Hyrule Castle, currently seized and under control of Ganondorf. After a grueling climb through the long halls and winding stairs of the castle, battling against the dark forces of Ganondorf's army, Link and Midna reach the throne room. Dark clouds draw themselves to the horrors upon the kingdom's throne. Ganondorf sits smug on the throne he possesses no claim to, high above the kingdom that was not his to take. With hatred in his heart, his vengeful soul bleeding from the wound on his chest, Ganondorf feels as though he has succeeded this time. This time? Yeah, this is not the first instance that the King of Evil had Hyrule in the palm of his hands. Approximately a century prior to these events, the Kingdom of Hyrule was enjoying a period of peace. Following a brutal civil war that tore the kingdom apart, life was finally flourishing. That is, until a man hailing from the desert would betray the King of Hyrule. The very same Ganondorf visited Hyrule Castle during this time frame to negotiate a peace deal with the king. He swore his allegiance to Hyrule, truly unifying the kingdom into a state of peace. However, this allegiance would be false. Ganondorf had other motives. He desired everything that the royal family had. He used the young hero of this time to manipulate his way into the Sacred Realm, followed by an attempt to take the full Triforce for himself. He came away with the abilities of power, but lacked wisdom and courage. Over the span of the next 7 years, Link was trapped within the Sacred Realm whilst Ganondorf took over Hyrule. Zelda went on the run with her guardian Impa, and the fate of Hyrule turned sour. The kingdom was under Ganondorf's control, but that wasn't enough for him. He desired divine levels of power and control, the kind granted to gods and deities. He desired the Triforce in full. Already the holder of the Triforce of Power, he spent his days searching for Princess Zelda and her Triforce of Wisdom, as well as Link and the Triforce of Courage. Towards the end of this adventure, Ganondorf captures Princess Zelda, forcing Link to come to him. Atop his dark castle, the hero and villain face off. Link bests the Gerudo King and assumes victory as the castle begins to crumble, Ganondorf's corpse within the ruins. Only a horrible reality would be realized as, after the dust had settled, a rumbling began from within the debris. Ganondorf's body rises up and transforms into his purest form of evil, Ganon. This sets up the final battle between Link and Ganon. Despite taking the upper hand early on, Link manages to triumph and slay the beast who troubled their kingdom for many years. Following this victory, Princess Zelda sends Link back in time to not only be able to live out his childhood years instead of being dragged into an adventure, but so the royal family of Hyrule can be warned in advance of Ganondorf's intent to betray the king. This is what leads to a flashback we're showing during the events of Twilight Princess, arguably one of the most crucial in terms of the lore and backstory of this era. We're showing Ganondorf's execution, taking place sometime not long after the events of Ocarina of Time. After Link goes back in time and Hyrule is warned of Ganondorf's intent to manipulate, for his crimes, the Gerudo was sent far to the reaches of the Arbiter's grounds, a colossal prison far out into the desert used to deal with the worst criminals the land has seen. The King of Evil is chained and shackled, held in place to receive his punishment. The sages draw their mighty sword of the 6 sages, plunging it directly through Ganondorf's body. However, this did not kill him. In what's described as a divine prank by the gods, the essence of the Triforce of Power activated within Ganondorf at this moment, allowing him to withstand a certain death. The King of Evil then looks up, breaking free from his iron shackles and lunging towards the Sage of War. Ganondorf murdered the sage. The situation was completely out of control. The man here to be punished for his crimes is now the one in control of the situation and stronger than ever. In a moment of chaos, the remaining sages made a smart move that would be sure to stop him. They activated the Mirror of Twilight and banished Ganondorf to the Twilight Realm, sending his soul to rot in a world of darkness. This is our full circle moment. This is how Ganondorf and Zamp became acquainted. It's Ganondorf's actions in Ocarina of Time that sent him here. He's the very same villain from Ocarina of Time. His sheer desire for power and control has kept him alive this entire time. And now he's back again in control of Hyrule. Now, over 100 years on from his first strike on Hyrule, he stands tall, preparing to battle Link and Midna in what can only be described as the most epic final boss showdown in Zelda history. Link battles against a possessed Princess Zelda under Ganondorf's control. After this opening phase, he then transforms into Beast Ganon, a giant hog that rampages through the throne room. After this second phase, the battle then moves to Hyrule Field. We see the castle being destroyed, only to then face Ganondorf on horseback, and then, finally after knocking him off his steed, Link would have the chance to face off against the King of Evil in a duel. No fancy arena, no obstacles or help from either side. It's a true warrior's fight to the death. This fight would determine if Ganondorf would be successful at the second time of asking over 100 years on from his first attempt, or would Link put an end to the evil man who just doesn't know when to quit. It's a grueling fight. Both warriors put on a display for the ages, and it concludes with a moment of magic from Link as he manages to knock the towering Ganondorf onto his back and delivers the first hidden skill he learned early on in this adventure, the ending blow. The hero of Twilight leaps into the air and begins creating enough momentum to drive the Master Sword directly through Ganondorf's body in the exact same position that the sages once did. At last, the evil that had been after this land for over 100 years had been slain. But Ganondorf stands once again. Despite being defeated at Hyrule Castle over 100 years ago, despite being sealed by the sages, despite being executed by the sages themselves, despite being banished to an entirely different plane of existence where light does not shine, Ganondorf stands. Mortally wounded by the blade of evil's bane, he struggles, but holds himself up. This moment here made me question if the battle was truly over this time. I was astonished and jaw-dropped to see that despite his injuries, the desire for power and control keeps him going, but it's what happens next that truly kills off one of the greatest villains in the coldest of fashions. Refusing to die, Ganondorf utters some final words. Gritting his teeth, the Gerudo states that this does not end here. He's determined to keep fighting. The history of light and shadow will be stained in blood. As he gains the composure to stand straight, he appears to gaze, the light in his eyes fading into the stained shadow. He sees a vision of Zant, the usurper who, in his own regard, was evil, but also someone who Ganondorf used. Zant was but a mere puppet to him, a tool at his disposal that he used for his own cause. Ganondorf didn't care if Zant lived or died. He painted a picture that they'd rule together. Yet again, another false alliance. And this time, it's back to bite him. As Ganondorf stands in Hyrule Field after all these years of manipulation, evil acts, and sheer greed, he's finished off by the sight of Zant cracking his neck and putting an end to the life of the Gerudo King, Ganondorf. There's no doubt in my mind that this duel between hero and enemy is the greatest final battle in the Zelda series, both for the battle gameplay itself, but also this incredibly ice-cold scene that follows. Ganondorf dies with the Master Sword sticking out of him. After multiple attempts to take Hyrule, he just couldn't hack it. It took one of the people he manipulated to close the curtains on his life. And I find that kind of poetic, leaving us with one of the most badass shots I think I've ever seen of a Zelda villain. This is truly the coldest death the Zelda series has ever seen. Thanks a ton for watching, folks. If you enjoyed this video, then I'd massively appreciate it if you'd consider subscribing for lots more fabulous Zelda content from myself, as well as dropping a cheeky wee like down below. What do you think of my analysis of the coldest death in Zelda? Am I right? Or am I right? Let me know in the comments. As always, a massive thank you goes to my incredible channel members and patrons. Their generous support really helps to make videos like this one all the more possible. If you'd be interested in further supporting my content, then check out the supporting links below for more information. Also down there are links to my socials and Discord server, where you can follow and join to keep up to date with myself and everything going on in our community. Thanks again for watching, folks. I wish you a great rest of your day or night, and until the next time, I've been Hyrule Gamer.